It is truly an awful feeling. Maybe you see a picture of your friends hanging out, or you hear about it from a friend, and a million thoughts race through your mind all at once. You think to yourself things like, did they really just forget about me? Or did they do this on purpose? What if I told you that the feeling of being left out usually isn't random? It's actually a signal that something deeper has shifted in the friend group. And in this video, I'm going to walk through the 5 most common reasons why. Hey, I'm Zoe Asher, a friendship coach who has spent the past 15 years sharing over 500 meals with strangers, studying what it takes to build extraordinary friendships so that I can help you level up yours. So we're talking through the feeling of getting left out of your friend group, or feeling like you're being left out. I recently was emailed this very question. What do I do when I feel completely left out by my friend group? And by the way, feel free, if you have a friendship question, to email contact@accidentallyintentional.com. I'll put it right here, or I'll put it in the description, or feel free to comment it below your friendship question. But they had asked me this, and I thought, wow, we really need to talk about this, because I think all of us have an experience of feeling left out at some point or another. So here's the first thing I'll say. A reason why you might feel left out is that the group maybe kept bonding while you weren't there. Maybe something pulled you away from that proximity and environment for a little bit. And we do this weird thing where we expect sometimes the world to stop when we're not around. And maybe you're like, I've never done that. Okay, I'll just out myself, okay? I travel a lot for work. And I used to live under this mindset of my friends can't get close if I'm not there. That's crazy, the audacity and pride to think that, because that's a control thing. But I think the reality is the greatest friendships are one where everyone has the freedom to be themselves and move towards people that bring them life and bring them joy, even if it's not just us. We don't own the people that we are friends with. We don't control who they get to talk to or who they don't get to talk to. And that's just the nature of healthy relationships in any respect. So maybe you were out of town for a while. Maybe something shifted in your life and you didn't have the capacity or time to show up in one season, but everyone else did. So everyone else continued to bond and move closer together. That wasn't that they left you behind as much as they saw the confines of your capacity and chose that they had more. And so they were going to continue to move closer together in the meantime. But maybe this isn't the case. And you're saying, okay, well, I was there. I have been there the whole time. So what do you have to say to that? I'm glad you asked. I think that's a good moment to address that you feel left out. And that the story you've been telling yourself is something like, they don't like me anymore, or I did something to hurt them, or they think I'm weird. See, because we do tell ourselves stories. Our bodies are wired to protect us. And so oftentimes in the silence, we let our mind fill in the gaps and complete a story that could be very detached from reality. We have to be willing to be vulnerable and share how we feel, or how something made us feel, or that the story we're telling ourselves is this. And I love this phrase because you're not blaming anybody else. You're actually saying, hey, this is a story I'm telling myself. Is this true? I've noticed that you've started hanging out with other people without me, and the story I'm telling myself is that you don't like me anymore, or you're annoyed with me. Is that true? I bet more often than not, you're going to find out that's not true. And I say that because I'll give you a perfect example. My favorite way to connect with people is in a one-on-one format, or a max of 3 people. And that's because I have ADHD, so my thoughts bounce around, but I really need to lock in with the person in front of me. So I prefer very small group settings in order to do that. And so if I meet someone who is a friend of a friend, but with this new friend that I meet, I'm catching a vibe like, oh, I want to spend more time with them. I want to get to know them. Then the first thing I'm going to do is ask to hang out with this friend and their other friend who will potentially be my new friend too. But let's say I have a friend group of 5 people. And so now there's 3 other people in that original friend group of us 5 who would see me hanging out with 2 other people, and now they feel left out. But in reality, I'm just trying to be intentional to build a new friendship with the new person while making time for everyone else in a separate format. So it's not like I'm dissing anybody. Everyone in my life knows that's my pattern. That's how I move. That's how I choose to be intentional. But it didn't always look like that to people. They'd be like, oh, so I'm being replaced? No, you're not being replaced. I have capacity for more friendships than just having one. And we, to be fair, we do need more than one friendship in our life. It's good to have 2 or 3 close friends, because if we're throwing the load and the expectations for one friend to be everything to us, anyone will collapse under that weight. And that's not fair to anyone either. Quick pause for a second. If you're currently questioning a friendship in your life, thinking, is this time for the friendship to end? What do? I don't know what's happening. I made something that I think is really going to help. Most adults were never actually taught how to evaluate our friendships. So we stay too long in the wrong ones, or we walk away from the right ones. That's why I created a free guide called 12 Questions to Ask Before You End a Friendship. It will walk you through the exact questions that you need to ask and think through on your own to figure out whether a friendship needs repair, a real conversation, or it's time to let go altogether. I've spent the last 5 years working as a friendship coach, and my insights on relationships have been featured in Bloomberg, Newsweek, Success Magazine, and more. So if you want clarity on a confusing friendship in your life, grab the free guide using the QR code you see on the screen or the first link you see in the description below. Let's finally get some clarity on where we stand with those friendships in our life. I also just want to speak to this notion real quick. I often see that people post when they're out with a friend, and I used to do this all the time too, and I got really convicted by it, honestly, because I realized that I might subconsciously be posting about this because I wanted people to see who I was with. Instead of actually being fully present in the moment and not needing to post about it and show someone who I was spending my time with, etc., I think maybe it would just be a better move for us to not need to take pictures and post them on social media, or we can take pictures just for posterity and remembering, but we don't need to feel that pressure to perform and always show everyone on social media what we're up to in life. I just want to give you permission and freedom. I just want to say that real quick. Okay, the second reason that you may be feeling left out is because the friendships were built on an activity that faded because the built-in structure isn't there anymore. So let's say, for instance, that you love to play pickleball. Depending on where you live in the country, that is a seasonal activity. So you're feeling left out because there isn't as much pickleball happening in the winter. When friendships are built on activities that have a cyclical nature to them, when that activity ceases to exist or something changes, then the structure isn't there anymore. And because we are creatures of habit, the habit suddenly lurches to a halt too. And that's where intentionality needs to kick in and choosing to go first and schedule hangouts with other people. That is a reason why we could naturally feel left out, because if you choose to change something in your life, let's say that you moved to a different city, maybe it was a neighboring one, but you're not in the normal flow of when you would see your friends, for instance, that's why you're going to naturally feel left out, because you have made decisions, or it could be the complete opposite. Someone else has made a decision, which they're now working in a different state, a different habit, and you're no longer in that. That doesn't mean they forgot you. That just means we're all choosing to move in certain directions in our life. And very few times is it an actual case where they are purposely trying to leave someone, aka you, out. Third reason you may feel left out, and this is the honest truth. Healthy friend groups constantly reorganize. healthy. I say healthy because each person is independent and not clinging to the rest of the group and refusing to grow and make new friends. I know that there is this catty side of us women specifically where we're like, that's my best friend. You can't have that. But that's petty. You know what I'm saying? We gotta grow past that. Because what you're actually saying in so many words is, I actually don't believe that I am capable of making any other friends, so I need to hang on to the one that I've got now and not let them go, which could in turn feel like smothering. And if that's the case, then someone may naturally want to distance themselves for that because they don't want to be smothered. Nobody wants to be smothered. No one wants to feel like they're being manipulated or controlled or used for a certain reason. And I've shared this in previous episodes, but research has been shown that the average lifespan of adult friendships is 7 years. Not 30, not forever, not 2, 7 years. That's where life changes seem to shift in a 7-year cycle in window. So healthy friend groups constantly reorganize. 4, your life priorities started shifting, and maybe even your values changed. Let's say that you wanted to start becoming incredibly disciplined in everything you do. Your morning routine, your fitness habits, your focus at work, your capacity to spend more time with your family. Well, naturally, if all those things are moving, something's got to give. So maybe you have less capacity for friends or less capacity for the activities you used to do with those friends. You will naturally feel left out because they're continuing to move at a certain pace. You've changed your pace, your rhythm, and it's not necessarily as compatible as it was before. Not a bad thing, not a good thing, just a thing. 5, and I alluded to this earlier, but you might be feeling left out because your brain is constantly scanning for threats. And it could be trying to protect you from rejection, even if rejection isn't actually real or true. How can you tell if it's true or not? Well, you find out by asking, is this true? And I think mindset is an incredibly important part of having healthy relationships in general in your life and believing the best of people and intentions. But let's say that your brain has told you conclusively, no, that's absolutely true. They hate me. They're leaving me out on purpose. They don't like me for this, that, or the other. Well, now you're going to have to test it. You can't just you can choose to believe that, but you're not going to feel fulfilled, let alone enjoyed by others, because you're going to project that onto everyone you interact with from that point forward. So why not have the courage to punch that fear of rejection in the face and have a conversation about it? Hey, I'm feeling left out. I'm feeling a little bit rejected. I want to know what's true. Can you help? I want you to speak to the lies I might be telling myself, because I've given you, friend, I always phrase it like this, a microphone in my life to turn up the volume. Your voice means a lot and it holds a lot of weight in my mind. So I want you to help tell me the truth, because what you say, I'm going to choose to believe. Now, obviously, we need to choose to believe people based on their actions and not just lip service, but that's a completely different episode. And here's a bonus reason why you might be feeling left out is because you are waiting to be invited instead of initiating. We cannot just passively sit by and expect our friendships to run on autopilot. And if you didn't get an invite, then that means you're completely gone. You're kicked out of the friendship. That's not a fair jump to make mentally. You could also choose to initiate having that entire friend group over and stop waiting for other people and realizing and seeing what's actually true. Here's what I believe. You are worth building incredibly rich friendships, and you are worth becoming the friend who levels up so that their friendships level up too. I just want you to feel encouraged that you are one conversation away from not only no longer feeling left out, but by being able to destroy what maybe was a lie that was holding you back from these awesome friends that you have, or awesome friends that you can now make as well. Catch you next time.